Hello everyone. This is YuktMind's unique initiative 10 minutes and newspaper done. In this initiative, we not only provide you squeezed UPSC relevant information from bulky newspaper in approx 10 minutes, but we also cover the related static information of the current happenings. This discussion is analysis of 9th June The Hindu, and we have selected 7 articles as per the UPSC syllabus, both prelims and mains. You can download the PDF of the gist from our Telegram channel or website Daily Current Affairs tab. First news, RBI's Monetary Policy Committee keeps repo rate unchanged at 6.5%. RBI forecasts real GDP growth for 2023-24 at 6.5%. Projects CPI inflation to average 5.1% this fiscal year. Laying out the rationale for the MPC's decision, RBI Governor Mr. Shaktikant Das stressed that the best contribution monetary policy could make in helping the economy realize its potential would be by ensuring price stability, that is, inflation targeting. Headline inflation, however, is still above the target as per the latest data and is expected to remain so according to our projections. Now let's discuss few concepts mentioned in the news. What is MPC? The Monetary Policy Committee was formed with the mission of fixing the benchmark policy interest rate, which is repo rate, to restrain inflation within the particular target level. The Monetary Policy Committee is constituted by the central government and led by Governor of RBI. So now the RBI Governor takes the monetary policy decision with support and advice of the 6-member committee, which includes RBI Governor himself. Initially, the main decisions related to repo rate and inflation targeting were taken by Governor of RBI alone before the establishment of Monetary Policy Committee in 2016. It conducts meeting at least 4 times a year, and the monetary policy is published after every meeting with each member explaining his opinions. Now, what is repo rate? Repo rate is referred to as the rate at which the central bank, which is RBI in India, lends money to the commercial banks for meeting short-term fund requirements in order to maintain liquidity and control inflation. Now, what is CPI? The Consumer Price Index is an economic indicator which is mainly used to measure inflation at the consumer level. CPI can capture the change in the prices of services which the WPI cannot. In composition of CPI basket, food and beverages contributes the highest, which is 45.86%. Then comes the miscellaneous category at 28%, housing is 10%, fuel and light is 6.84%, clothing and footwear is 6.53%, pan, tobacco and intoxicant is 2.3%. You can find these details in the PDF provided in our Telegram channel. The wholesale price index focuses on the price of goods that are traded between corporations. The main objective of WPI is to monitor price drift that reflects demand and supply in manufacturing, construction and industry. Now, what is the headline inflation that our RBI governor just mentioned? It is the raw inflation figure reported through the Consumer Price Index. The headline figure is not adjusted for seasonality or for the often volatile elements of food and energy. That means headline includes food and energy, whereas core inflation does not include food and energy sector. Second news, the National Human Rights Commission issued notice to the Bihar government over the reports of 150 students falling ill after consuming midday meals at a government school in Narwal Barwal area of West Champaran district. Now let's talk about NHRC. NHRC, established in 1993, is an independent statutory body as per the provisions of the Protection of Human Rights Act of 1993, which was amended in 2006. NHRC was established in compliance with the Paris Principles of Human Rights 1991, which were adopted for the promotion and protection of human rights and were endorsed by the United Nations at its General Assembly of 1993. The NHRC is composed of a chairperson and 8 other members. The chairperson is retired Chief Justice of India. And if you know the 4 deemed members of NHRC, please write in the comments below. A selection committee which recommends the candidates to the president includes Prime Minister, who is the chairman, Speaker of Lok Sabha, Union Home Minister, Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha, and leaders of opposition in both the houses of parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Third news, The Kerala government issued an order mandating the formation of a student grievance redressal cell in all colleges and teaching departments and universities across the state within a month. Appellate committees will also come up in each university. The move comes in the wake of a second year student of the Amal Jyoti College of Engineering in Kanjirapalli ending her life. Now, you can use this as an example of best practices in education and health topic of GS paper 2. Fourth news, the Union Health Ministry announced that the National Exit Test Next will be held from 2024. Now, what is Next? Next will replace the final year MBBS examination and the National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test Postgraduate, that is NEET PG, acting as the test for registration for doctors and admission to medical postgraduate courses. It is also noted that recognition of 38 medical colleges have been withheld. This is a routine process that is conducted by the National Medical Commission (NMC), which is the apex medical regulator, to ensure that these teaching institutes have no deficiencies. The issues for which colleges are facing flack from the regulators include staff shortage, shortage of doctors, patients not being available to students, staff not marking attendance on biometric system, etc. Fifth news, USA UK forge Atlantic Declaration to boost ties. The United States and Britain announced a new strategic pact as their leaders rededicated the special relationship to counter Russia, China, and economic instability. An Atlantic Declaration adopted by the leaders aims to boost industry ties on defense and renewable energy in the face of growing competition from China. We face new challenges to international stability from authoritarian states such as Russia, People's Republic of China, disruptive technologies, non-state actors, and transnational challenges like climate change, the declaration read. Sixth news, Canada wildfires shroud New York in apocalyptic haze and smog, which has forced millions of Canadians and Americans to stay indoors as skies darkened over large portions of both nations. More than 400 fires burned in Canada, and blazes this year have already scorched roughly 9.8 million acres of forest, more than 10 times the acreage that had burned by this time last year. Climate research suggests that heat and drought associated with global warming are major reasons for the increase in bigger and stronger fires in Canada. Canada has the world's largest intact forest ecosystem. Drought and high heat can make trees vulnerable to fire and dry out dead grass, pine needles, and any other material on the bottom of the forest floor that acts as kindling when a fire sweeps through a forest. Seventh news is based on experts' comments on production linked incentive schemes. Ex-RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan questioned the success of the production linked incentive scheme in boosting India's domestic manufacturing and exports. The center believes that the PLI scheme has boosted the domestic manufacturing sector, but critics have questioned its success. Now, before discussing the analysis of PLI, we should know what is PLI scheme. The Government of India's Production Linked Incentive Scheme is a performance linked incentive that rewards businesses for additional sales of goods produced domestically. Its objectives are to increase production and lower imports. The PLI scheme's goals include Make in India, which encourages foreign manufacturers to begin production in India, and domestic firms to increase production and exports. Production linked incentive scheme was first established in April 2020, that is just in COVID, for the large-scale electronics manufacturing sector, but it was later expanded to include 10 other sectors at the end of 2020. Let's discuss issues with PLI. The bulk of the PLI is focused on the organized sector, in which employment generation is very little because of automation, which has led to further marginalization and decline of sectors where employment generation is high. The process of doling out subsidies involves discretion and is prone to crony capitalism. At the macro level, PLI is freebie to the corporate sector, which is based on the idea of supply-side economics. So this will not work when demand is short, which is a structural problem. The other structural problem that needs to be highlighted is the inadequacy of research and development by businesses. So what are the steps to make PLI more effective? Rather than protecting large-scale industries, we need to boost the micro sector, which is where the bulk of the employment lies. There are core sectors which have high externalities or multipliers for other economic activity, so investing in or developing certain core sectors will help in propelling development at large. For example, semiconductor industry or the electric vehicles industry as a core sector will help in fostering industrialization. Governments typically target certain strategic sectors which have huge potential. Looking at the future of sustainability considerations, green industries are one set of industries which will have booming demand because every country is committed to net zero goals. The US government has put $720 billion to be distributed either as subsidies or incentives to companies which will manufacture high-tech equipment such as semiconductors, green hydrogen and electric vehicles. The conditions need to be created to lower the risk of investment in R&D. So what is the way forward? India needs to boost demand, and so it needs to reduce inequalities so that demand for mass consumption items will give a boost to the economy as a whole, as demand is a structural problem. We also need to create good employment data. While there are 320 million Indians who have proper employment, 270 million Indians don't, and that's why there is a low demand in the economy. Infrastructure has to be fixed, the quality of education has to be improved at all levels, R&D investments have to be enhanced. Since today we are talking of a globally open and integrated economy, every domestic or foreign investor looks at whether other governments are giving bigger subsidies, and if so, investments will simply flow there. So we need to put in some efforts towards promotion, facilitation and incentivization of investment. So based on this, we can say that production linked incentive is in the right direction. Thank you for watching. Let us know your feedback in the comments. Keep visiting our website, Telegram, Instagram and Twitter.